What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B Hot Radio. Shout in, stepping in the building. I got a friend and family member to the show off in this thing, a professor and filmmaker, Steve Starks. What's going on with it, man? Yeah.
I'm hearing like the crowd sounds and things like that. I'm going good, man. I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive.
Exactly, man. We happy to have y'all in this thing, Steve. Now, I mean, let's get straight to it, though, man. This Black Barbers documentary started off as a vision. Next thing you know, it became a film and a podcast.
Yeah.
Break that down to me, sir.
Well, I'm going to first start out with this. If it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have it.
That's right.
So it started back when I was a kid. I used to go to the barbershop all the time when I was like, I think I started probably when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
My mom used to say, get him a little bit off the top and a little bit off the sides. And
my mama
like
used to say close and shaped.
Close and shaped.
Yeah, she wanted mine. I want his hair cut close and shaped. Yeah.
Well,
I know exactly. Forgive me.
No, it's cool. It's cool. So we had it. So it's crazy. We didn't grow up in the same household.
Exactly. But mama knew how to get a black boy's haircut.
Right. So with that being said, I was like, man, at a young age, I was like, it's something special about this shop. You got, my barber was probably like 60-something at the time, 60-something years old. You got a barber that's 18, 19 at the same time. Then you got your lawyers, then you got your doctors, then you got your, just everybody of all walks of life in this particular space, which is the safe space, which is known as the barbershop.
That's right.
So let's fast forward to about 2017. I was talking to my barber pre-COVID, and I was like, what do you think about if I created a documentary based on? He said, oh man, that'd be dope. And he told everybody in the barbershop, and then that just took off. And I was like, I need to do this.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me try to figure this thing out. So it was an idea since like 2017, I think 2017.
Yeah.
Got it going, figured it out, and then it hit me in 2020. I was like, I'm gonna film this thing. We all know 2020 was a rough time.
Yeah, it was the real deal.
The pandemic. So we didn't know what was going on, what was happening. So so I was like, let me just try to film this thing.
Yeah.
And then the later part of the year, it got bad. And then I was like, all right. I was like, all right, God, let's just make it work. Yeah. So I got some very well respected individuals in the industry to get it going. We filmed it December 2020, made it happen. We had a nurse on board. Some people never been on a film set, a documentary film set. I got some people to interview, and I trained some people along the way. And the day of the shoot, filming the Barbers Doc documentary, which is an award-winning film now. We'll get there later. Man, like it just then that morning of one of my cameraman got COVID.
Damn.
So now I am not only the director, I'm the director, the producer, the assistant editor, and then also the cameraman as well.
My God.
And doing COVID. And trying to be safe at the same time. So a lot of people don't know that. But I'm glad that I can talk about it now on the platform and really get it out there. So it's an award-winning film. At the first film festival that it was a part of, it was an award-winning film and a part of Pictures Up Film Festival in L.A. It won out there. It was a part of Bronze Lens Film Festival. It was well-received there. Yeah. And then here we are with the podcast. So it was a lot, man. So just being the brains behind it all, but just pacing myself and having a good team really helped me out. And God.
How did you feel, taking it to the festivals and receiving the love there, man?
Honestly, okay, so we got to back up. So in grad school, I went to Savannah College of Art and Design.
Okay.
In SCAD in Savannah. They kind of preached that you can push it to film festivals, but I didn't really see it because I didn't want nobody to take my idea. So it took from that time frame, like 2012, 2010, 11 in grad school. And then I was like, let me just try it. Yeah. So then I tried it, and here we are. 2021, 2022, it's taking off.
Exactly. Then you did the podcast, though, man. What was it that made you realize that you needed a podcast to coincide with the film?
I didn't know. I think it was talking to you. Kind of figuring out. I was like, man, I think I can do what he doing.
I mean, even if you selling sodas, you need a podcast. Okay, I don't care what you got going on. You need a podcast as a marketing wing for it, just to keep you into people's face on a regular and consistent basis.
Yeah.
So for you, the Black Barbers Doc podcast, though, man, how was that, putting that together and launching that? I was there for a shoot at the barbershop over there at 5 Points, and it was going down in that thing, sir.
Thank you, Groomsmen Barbershop. G at Groomsmen Barbershop, got to shout it out because these barbers and taking their time allow me in their personal spaces, or not personal spaces, their safe spaces.
That's right.
Because it's like a home. Everybody don't let you in their home.
Come on now.
So I just thank him for opening the doors for me to get in and my team. And the aesthetics over there is dope too. So
great.
So I was very strategic. It was December 2020. What year is this? 2024. December 2023. I was like, I got an idea. Let me just try this podcast. So let me get Hightower.
Yeah.
He has that energy. Let me get G at the barbershop, Groomsmen Barbershop. Let me get him. I mean, why not put the owner of the space into one of the episodes? He has a story. Yeah. So that's episode 1 of the Barbers Doc podcast if you want to see his story. That one was very very personable. You know, the significance of the barber chairs that he had from a mentor that he had, you know, within that. He brought those from New York down and preserved those chairs.
Yeah.
And has cherries on the back of each chair to signify his to pay homage to his mentor that paved the way for him to be a barber.
Come on.
You know, so we're talking about a little bit of everything from I just did a recent episode with Affion Crockett. That was my latest episode, and then I also did a recent episode on kids that's on the spectrum, and autism and things of that sort. And then we just talked about, so we talking about a little bit of everything. I just did another episode at a back to school bash of talking to Councilwoman, believe her name is Jamel McKenzie, and also Brian Granville of the Granville Firm Law Group. He's an attorney. And that was at a back to school back to school bash, and they gave out over 1,000 uniforms. So I took it on the street. Took it on the wheels. Black Barbers Doc podcast ain't just in the studio. I took it on the road, and we went to College Park at the Badgett Stadium and made it happen.
Okay,
and
then.
So I filmed them.
So now, for you though, Steve, how did you break into the industry, man? What was it that made you pick up that camera and say, I'm about to do my thing?
Wow, good question. So it started in undergrad where I was a music major. Then I got my first F in music, and it's because I wasn't going to class.
Oh man!
So I have to be transparent.
Okay, so you just as bad as the students that you teach?
Sometimes. Well, hey, but look though, I'm just filming here as well, behind the scenes.
I'm with you.
But I tell them that story as well. So, but the thing is though, I say don't do what I did.
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't settle for the F. But I do think that F launched me into where I needed to be. Yeah. Because I played around a little bit in school.
No, you're right.
And then on the back end, I had to really figure that out.
I remember when I was at Clark, I had a situation similar to that when I was in school, and it was my news writing class.
Yeah.
And the class was so easy because I was always good at writing, so I felt like I didn't need to go to class. But I mean, I got A's and B's on every exam and every test, and I failed that class.
Wow.
And I had to take that class over again, and I remember that playtime was just over. You can't be playing. If you're going to do it, you got to do it, and you got to do it good. And that's just the bottom line. If you want the results that you need.
Yeah. And guess, so, yeah, similar. So I had to take that class over, but I was like, I feel like my purpose is in film and television. So talking to one of my friends, I used to go to Hampton Band Camp a while ago, and I used to have my video camera out, filming the bands, but I was heavy in drums. A lot of people don't know I play drums, but I'm really nice with the drums. Yeah. So I played a lot of drums then in high school, so I would take the cadences, take them back to my school, as what you should and which they welcome.
Yeah.
You know, and and in doing that, it was one of those things where one of my friends told me now, he was like, Steve, like, it's crazy because God was kind of like showing you, because you were so focused on the drums and filming the drums.
Yeah.
But when years later, I'm actually filming, and God is showing you that you're going to be a filmmaker, but He's just tying your two loves together.
Exactly.
Later on down the line. I'm like,
that's real.
wow.
No, that's real.
And then now I filmed some viral videos for Shaw University, for Talladega College, HBCU videos and things like that. I'm a Shaw U grad. Did an HBCU video there.
Come on.
That took off, went viral with Watch the Yard.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm pretty good with the camera.
As a professor, though, Steve, what is it like for you giving back to the community and teaching the students of the next generation? Is there hope for this next generation, or are you very concerned about them, sir?
You will put me in the hot seat. So, question part one. So basically, what is it like being a professor? Being a professor is very rewarding, challenging. Parent, dad, mentor times two. These students, some of these students have my phone number.
Yeah,
that's how intentional I want to be with these students. They need more black male professors in the HBCU community.
Yeah,
as I met you there.
Exactly.
Big shout out to Makisha for bringing me on board. Bringing me on board, and then you gave me my first tour.
My God.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
That's crazy.
So it's all like a full circle.
Yeah.
So, and then I remember when I got the job, they was like, "We need you," and I was like, "But I'm traveling the world. I don't know about stopping, traveling the world and filming, but it's rewarding. Here we are. I'll be 5 years. When is it, Mickey? August? 5 years? 5 years.
My
5 years
God.
in August. It's rewarding, man.
With the students, though, what are some of the difficulties as a professor trying to get through to the kids to get them to understand exactly what you're trying to impose upon them or impart upon them? I mean, because a lot of times, students will be in class and they won't even realize that, hey, man, this is a real lesson that you're getting here.
I think one of the things is just you got to build the trust with them first. And then I think another thing is them also believing in you and then showing them your work and what you've done. So then they can say, oh, I can do it too.
Exactly.
But the average student now, with social media being at its highest, at its peak, with having access to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, how to start a podcast, Google. How to start a podcast, enter. It pops up.
That Chat GPT too.
It'll kick it to you in seconds.
Come on.
So they feel like they got it now. I don't need to be in school. No, you actually, whether you want to get a trade or be in school, you need to be in school and learn something. You don't have it all.
Come on.
I thought I had it all at 21, but I don't.
Come on.
I'm damn near just figuring it out now.
Well, what I learned about education is you need it. That's number one. Number two, you can never get enough of it. You have to consistently be learning because the game is changing every 5 minutes. And that was one of the things, too, for these students. They think that they know it all, but they don't even understand that there are pitfalls that they're not even prepared for that are sitting right out there waiting on them.
Yeah.
And the only way that you'll know about them is through experience.
Yeah,
so you have to go to school to talk to professors that actually have the experience of those pitfalls to be able to advise you and guide you through these things, man.
I'll give you a story because I didn't fully answer the other part of your question about how did I kind of get into it. So a part two of that is I came into the game. I guess I came into the industry as being a behind-the-scenes videographer. You know, working on a plethora of music videos, a plethora of feature films. Yeah. And just by making that way, like I worked in the location department as well on a bunch of different feature films, and you know. Hunger Games was one of my first feature films I worked on, you know, and working in the locations department, just protecting the film set, just making sure that everything is where it needs to be. But back to the behind the scenes, you're around a lot of celebs. You're around a lot of people on the independent level, A-listers, B-listers, C-listers and stuff. And it's just a matter of me just making sure that I don't get caught up in the celebrity and then just get caught up in the job. Yeah. And stay focused on the job that you're doing. And by me staying focused on the job that I'm doing, people will see you. Yeah. I think Timberland said, hey, the money will come. Yeah. But I just made sure that I was loyal to my craft. Yeah. And by that time, and then a lot of people saw me doing a lot of behind the scenes for Ludacris and a lot of behind the scenes for their foundations, and then CeeLo, and then a lot of different guys, and then August Alsina early on, and then a lot of people. Yeah. But they're people too.
Can you speak on working with Luda and working with CeeLo, man? What were those experiences like?
Wow. Working with a Luda, when he can recognize you as a person, and it's crazy because a lot of people want to say they want to get on the music video sets and things like that. Like, I never worked on a music video with him. But what I did do, I went in through the foundation.
Yeah.
And the foundation is, if you don't know what the foundation is, they give back.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Ludacris Foundation, they give back.
Oh, man.
They give back. And it's not about, people look at these people as like dollar figures.
Yeah.
But it's really about the community coming on board, and then me filming for that foundation. So I got to make sure I'm in alignment with the foundation.
That's right.
Because sometimes he may be there, sometimes he may not be, but the foundation and the people and his family, and they're still there, so I can speak on that.
Exactly.
But be ready when he call you, though.
Damn right.
Be ready when he call you, because when he wants you, he wants you.
Exactly.
And then by, it's a rewarding thing. I don't take that lightly.
When it comes to, documentary filmmaking, though, man, I mean, what are some of the trials and tribulations that you face just creating documentaries for those that want to do the same thing, too? Because that whole documentary filmmaking thing, hell, my daughter, that's what she's about to go to Spelman and do the documentary filmmaking over there. So what is it about that can be difficult for somebody?
Well, I'm going to just say I can help her out.
Okay.
I got her back.
Okay, then appreciate it.
I can help her out
Thank
too.
you.
Because that's what it's about. It's about it's about creating that village. We talked about that prior to this interview. The challenging part about it is sometimes it can be resources. Sometimes it can be making sure that you are in alignment with. You got to become one with the project.
Yeah.
It's about just making sure. I helped design some classes for Apple that was in partnership with Propel, and they created a course called Pocket to Production. This phone that I'm recording behind the scenes with.
Yeah.
Okay, guess what? We can find a microphone for that. Rode just came up with a microphone that you can plug to the back of the camera, the back of your iPhone, and plug. It's a USB-C or a regular iPhone plug that you can plug into, and it's an adapter. The receiver goes on you, goes on me, and it's two audio outputs.
Damn.
And boom, just like that. It's under $300, and you can do that. So, hey, if you need to do interviews with your iPhone, hey, do that.
Exactly.
It's just basically what Clark Atlanta's motto is: find a way to make one.
You got to.
So, and I'm finding a way, and I'm making it happen.
Damn right.
But I think another thing is just using your resources. Use your resources. Find a way to make one. Just make sure that your relationships as well.
Facts.
You got to have relationships in this industry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if we didn't have the relationship.
Come on.
And then just so if you're doing, let's make up one real quick. Let's make up a scenario. I want to do a documentary on radio air personalities and ATL. Okay, so Be High, he's been in ATL forever. From ATL, right?
That's right.
Okay, asking questions,
Come on.
figuring out things.
Yeah.
Okay, he has a podcast. He's he's a radio air personality.
Yeah.
He's a professor at Clark Atlanta University.
Yeah.
Those are three things we need to know. You got a daughter that go to Clark Atlanta, not go to Clark, that's going to Spelman.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about fatherhood with him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how did he get a podcast. Let's talk about his way of getting into the radio air personality platform.
Yeah.
How do you be respected and things about that?
Yeah, no,
how do you be
good.
respected in this platform? And let's start there. And then so it's just asking questions. Use your resources. Use your iPhone. Buy something from Amazon. Buy your tripod.
Yeah.
Don't wait for a handout.
Whew, you ain't never lied about that.
Take it.
So now, exactly. I mean, with that being said, though, Steve, what else are we working on right now, man? And I mean, what do you want the people to know?
Right now, I think one of the things is definitely pushing the podcast. But the film has not been sitting, but I filmed it since 2020.
Yeah.
So I think one of the main things right now is just really trying to get distribution for the film.
Okay.
But also talking to some other people that are in the film industry as well respected.
Yeah.
Is push it myself. I'm an independent filmmaker, so push this thing myself. So it's tapping into the relationships, tapping into some of these barber sponsors, tapping into these relationships, and and just going with it. I had the relationship with the Barbers.
Well, I'm about to make it make sense, and I'm about to bring it straight to your doorstep. Have you heard of a man named Malcolm X?
Never heard of it. Don't know who that is.
If you know the Malcolm X story.
Just say it again so I can hear it.
Oh, you talking about the Malcolm X?
Yeah, say it again.
If you've heard of the Malcolm X story, then you'll know that he began preaching on the sidewalk, standing on a box in New York, giving them the business. All the way up until he was all over the world, talking to dignitaries all across the world. I say that to say is that's where it begins, on that corner.
Yeah, it does.
Passionately, cranking it up, grassroots, getting people to believe, one by one.
True.
You got 5 fans. Come on in here. Let me get your 5 fans.
Yeah.
You got 500 fans.
Yeah.
Come on in here. Let me get your 500 fans. You got 5,000 fans.
Yeah.
Come on in here. Let me get your 5,000 fans. That's where it starts at. But nobody believes that you can actually go from 5 to 50 to 500 to 5,000 to 500,000. But yes, you can. It just takes a long ass time. That's the whole point. There's no shortcut around it. The shortcut is the networks and the plugs. If you got plugs and networks, that will definitely help you get there quicker. But I'm here to let you know, most of the people that are the plugs and the networks, they done been through so much shit to become the plug in the network. They're not handing out the plugs like that because they're like, you got to do some work to get here. Yeah. You can't cheat the work. There's no way around it. If somebody came to me and said, B, I want to have a podcast like you doing the same numbers that you do, then I'm going to say, hey, well, I interviewed everybody that had a mouth on their damn head for like 5 years straight. I didn't care who it was. Come in here and tell your story. I want, if your fan was just your mama, your grandmama, and your brother and sister, I wanted them 4 folks to know who I was and who my platform was, and that's how I grew it. And I treated everybody the damn same. It didn't matter who they were. Everybody got the interview like they were Michael Jackson. So my work started to speak for itself. Then eventually, some of the people that I was interviewing would start to blow up. Some of the OGs will come back in and they'll say, hey man, I've been watching your work, I see what's going on, I'd like to be a part of it. And that's how you organically grow. But also through that way, it's a lot easier to monetize the platform through the platforms because you're actually growing for real. It's not no optics, it's actually people tuning in and watching it. And if you have those kinds of people, you'll find out that, hey, you don't have to do hundreds of thousands of views per video to make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
True.
But nobody knows that because they're so busy trying to fake it out. You could do 10,000 views per video and make hundreds of thousands of dollars still.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got this thing figured out.
You don't have to do that. If you're doing 1 million views per video, you're making and you dropping as much content as I'm dropping, then you're going to be rich as hell, okay?
Man.
Come on, you're going to be rich as hell. But the whole thing is
donuts.
that grassroots platform, man, you just got to love what you're doing, love the people you're doing it for, and do it consistently and frequently until it gets the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
It's God's grace how fast and how big it gets, but you just got to do the work and till the field until you get up through there. Yeah. But with your documentary, the Black Barbers doc, I think it's one of the best, ideas, period, point blank, because we all have been to the barbershop at one point in our lives and engaged in a riveting conversation inside of a barbershop that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you a story about me and a barber. I went to the barbershop over there off of MLK near the AMP. My cousin used to have actually a wig store in the same plaza later on. And those barbers, man, they played a real role in our lives. When me and my brother would go into that barbershop as kids, they would say, them 2 boys right there, they gonna be something.
Yep.
Those 2 boys right there, they got it, they gonna be something.
Yep.
And back then, I was like, how the hell y'all know I'm gonna be something? We out here in the middle of this hood, in the middle of Adamsville getting our haircut. We just trying to get our haircut, brothers.
Right.
But they was instilling belief in us and encouraging us and building that self-esteem in these 2 young black boys that needed a haircut. And I'm getting a close in shape. Like my mama would tell them to do it. That was the closest thing to a bald head, okay? Because she was like, your little nappy head, you ain't combing your hair, you ain't doing nothing. You need to get your hair cut close to shape. But I say that to say that was one of the pivotal moments in my life when I look back on it, when I think about those times in the barbershop, those conversations that we had, how those men used to motivate us to want to be something and grow up to be something, and then how they protected us from a lot of the stuff that was going on in the community as well, man. So, I mean, I saw a lot of people coming there and get jobs. You know, people were able to work. I mean, it was just a real family-friendly environment, man, and that's one of the beautiful things. And I'm glad that you're doing a documentary on that, and you've been sharing it with the world, and then got the doggone podcast to go along with it, so people can understand how important the barbershop is to our community and our culture.
Yeah. The great thing about, what I think in doing my research, because I did a lot of digging for this, because in order to do a documentary, you got to do research.
That's right.
You can just put out false facts.
Come on
but
now.
I believe that the black barbershop is the oldest working profession, or oldest job in America.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to go back, the barbers were barber surgeons as well. So that's some of the things that people probably really don't know.
That's crazy.
You know, but it goes even further back to Egyptian culture. So think about your barber being your surgeon as well. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but they got to get surgical with their hairline, sir. They got to get, sometimes they have to get surgical with it so it doesn't surprise me.
No, they really do.
You see what I'm saying?
Sometimes, because they be like, hey, they push you back, so we're going
They got to get surgical.
We're going to cut it down.
Exactly.
It is, because they're reshaping the way you look.
Exactly.
I never thought about it.
Oh, yeah, no. You done heard the barber say, oh, no, I got to get surgical with this because your hairline is so jacked up.
Yeah.
I got to get surgical in this thing.
Yeah, and they know. They look at it, and they'll take their hand and put it to the, like
oh,
this,
yeah.
and they'll be like, okay, cool, because it'll go, like, straight, and then it'll go down.
Come on.
And then they'll say, okay, cool, we're going to have to cut it down so it doesn't look. It even, like, sometimes, like I'm very picky about my points.
You damn right.
You know, so because it's like certain areas on certain, like the left hand side of my head is a lot lighter.
It's different.
Than this
Exactly.
side. And they always say I got that good hair. So it's one of those things where I kind of got to make sure that the right barber cuts my hair. I just can't go to anybody.
Oh no, you know your barber. You know, people touching your hair. That's just very intimate and it's very personal.
It is.
And you have to really trust that person, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things, you know, picking a barber is like picking a doctor, like you said. I mean, they are surgeons.
Really
I
is.
mean, that's a very important part of our lives because imagine, did you see the, what's that show with our boy, man? I wish I could, he talked about his hairline. It was messed up. He had a whole television show about his hairline. Anthony Anderson.
Oh,
he had that show, that episode where his hairline got messed up.
Yeah.
And it was a whole episode about his hairline being messed up at the barbershop.
And that shows you how important it was.
Exactly. And that was one of my favorite episodes of that show.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, you got me running my mouth in this thing, Steve. So now if people want to contact you, though, they want to get down with the movement. They want to see the documentary, man. They want to listen to the podcast. How can they find you?
All right, so Black Barbers Doc at Black Barbers DOC. That's the Instagram. And then also in the link tree, I got all the links to the podcast, and so you can see that. I'm thinking about doing another screening for the Black Barbers documentary. It'll be the best, and also at the end of it, I have like a maybe 2-minute behind the scenes video as well. So that'll be something that everyone can see the making of it. You'll see us with our mask on and things like that. And yeah, so Black Barbers Doc on TikTok, on all social media platforms. But before we wrap, I definitely want to give a shout out to these different barbers.
Yeah.
Because telling you, if it wasn't for them,
Come on.
I wouldn't have this thing where it is. So I definitely want to give a shout out to the film crew. I've thanked them millions and millions of times. They know who they are. I appreciate it. But the barbers, let's go backwards. Let's do Step the Barber first. For opening the doors, for being on the podcast. Various episodes. Still gotta release his episodes. His episode is in the queue for opening up his doors at can't think of the name of his shop right now. Plush Midtown. Midtown Barbershop in Midtown. And then also where the barber's at. I took another screenshot of it. Give me a second.
I'm with you. Take your time. We got time.
Give me a second. And Off the Hook Barbershop. They're off of Peter Street, downtown, ATL. Carl and the owner, he's the owner. I think everybody in there because they opened up the barbershop during the pandemic.
Ooh.
It's a tough time, man.
Come on, man.
Tough time. And then also, who else is it? MC. He is a barber as well. Open up the doors to his barbershop. Travis, and then also DeMichael and a bunch of other different barbers out there, because you got to thank these people.
You damn right.
Because they trust in you during the pandemic. They trust in you with their time, and they're telling their stories.
That's right.
You know, and then also, but what's also crazy, before we wrap, this might spark up another question, but one of my investors backed out on me.
Ooh.
So I had this whole list of
yeah,
what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And then I had to diminish everything to make it happen within that as well. So I know I saved it to the very end. But
Yeah.
I went from a fairly decent big budget to a minimal budget.
Yeah.
But we made it happen.
That's all that matters, though, because at the end of the day, it's not even about the budgets. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about social media and the world that we living in right now. You just said it. You hook up the microphone to that telephone, and you good to go.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Once again, though, Steve, how can they contact you if they need to holler at you?
Black Barbers Doc Podcast. Black Barbers Doc on Instagram. Make sure y'all like and subscribe on the podcast. We got some really dope episodes coming up. Do a film screening as well, like I said before, and let's do it. Let's do it, man. This is a movement that's happening, and definitely got merch and things like that as well. Black Barbers Doc, don't cheat on your barber shirts, is definitely in the store as well. I'm gonna drop some more after this episode as well, because I know y'all gonna watch this episode, and
That's right.
we got some pretty good barbers merch coming out too as well. And man, so I definitely want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate you putting up on a player, man.
For allowing me to be on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm here for
didn't
it.
have to.
Well, no, I'm here for it, Steve. That's just
Yeah.
the bottom line. I mean, it's a good story. It's moving the culture forward, and we have to support each other, and that's just what it is. Be High Radio shouted. Steve Stars, Black Barbers Doc. I'll let y'all in a minute, man. We gone.
Thank you, man.
Got you.